going to start as we always do with the feet flat on the mat, nice and open across your chest and just letting the arms hang heavy. We want to draw that pelvic floor in, draw the belly button in, light lift of the pelvic floor. Breath in, and then we're going to roll down. So we want even pressure on both your feet as we roll down to the mat. Breath in here, and then exhale, pull your tummy in to roll up. As always, we do this 3 times at the beginning and at the end, so you can see how far you've come. Rolling up. And this one will be the last one. So feel that nice stretch of your lower back, maybe a bit of a hamstring stretch, but we are keeping the knees bent, straightening them up when we get upright. So arms floating out to the side, reaching your fingertips to the opposite walls. And let's move into some side bends. So inhale, we'll tilt. Exhale, up. Inhale, tilt. And exhale, up. So just using these as a way to warm up our body. Maybe you've been running around all day, or maybe you haven't. But anyway, whatever it is you've been doing, we want to just slowly start to tilt, loosening up our muscles, warming up our core. So it's really important that we keep pulling that tummy in towards the spine. You stay activated. My legs are quite strong and activated here. So my kneecaps are lifted, my quads are also contracted, but I'm not jamming my knees into hyperextension. Good. Let's reach a little bit further on the next one, as far as we can. And up, and this will be the last one over this side. We want to use our obliques to pull us all the way back up, turning the palms to face the ceiling, bending the knees. Everything from the waist down is going to stay nice and still. So it's a gentle double twist and back through center. Gentle double twist, back through center. Kind of feel like you're wringing out a cloth or something, unwinding your spine, unscrewing a bottle, something like that. And we're trying to keep the knees going straight out over the toes. So my body weight, I can wriggle around my toes here. My body weight is in my heels, but I have all 10 toes planted on the mat just for a little bit of extra balance and support. My back is just staying, or my pelvis at least, is staying in its neutral position. And we do a double reach because on that second one, you just want to reach a tiny bit further around. So we go to here, and then the second one a little bit further. And of course, it's nice and controlled the whole time. Let's make this the last one to each side. And then we'll come back through center. We're going to do our favorite balance challenge. So let's turn to face the side, or wherever you've got the room, standing towards the center of your mat, taking our arms out to the side. We'll take the weight over to the left leg. So I'm just peeling my right knee. I'm just going to move because I'm touching the wall. Right knee up to hip height. My standing leg is nice and straight and nice and strong. I'm going to press this leg behind using my hamstrings and my butt, and that will tip us forward. So keeping the shoulders, the hips square to the floor. We're going to pause when we get to this point. Bend the knee carefully, straighten it up, and floating all the way back to where we started. So we'll do it 3 more times. So keep your focus, hold your core strong. Use your arms for balance. Try to keep that underneath leg straight if you can. And then we bend, stretch, and up. Very tempting when we press this leg behind to turn out our hip because it feels like we can get our leg a lot higher. But let's not worry about height of the leg. We just want to keep nice and square and in control. That's going to make our standing butt do a lot more as well. So this is the last one on this side. Over we go, bend, stretch, and finishing with that leg up to hip height, and then we'll do the other side. So finding your balance first. Carefully other leg up this time to hip height, being careful not to hitch the hip there. Don't let this leg touch the floor, so press it behind. So using a hamstring and glute, and that's going to tip our body forward. We get to here. Bend, stretch, and up we come. So, like I said, we're not trying to do a full penché. We're not trying to be ballerinas here. We're just working on our balance and a little bit of dynamic flexibility. 2 more times, and just notice in your own body which side feels more stable, which side you get the wobbles on. And this is the last one. Nice and slow and smooth. If you get the wobbles, not to worry, just reset, start again. No one can see you, it's fine. Finishing with that leg up, and then we'll take both legs down. So today, in terms of props, I'm just going to use a small ball here, but if you don't have a ball, just grab a cushion, and if you don't have anything like that, or a rolled up towel, anything like that nearby, don't even worry, it doesn't matter. So let's place the ball in between our ankles, or the cushion, or whatever it is that you're squeezing, and if you're not squeezing anything, just place your feet together. We'll leave the hands on our hips, and take the body weight forward, so I'm actually squeezing on whatever it is there quite a lot. Take the body weight forward, and we're going to rise up onto our toes. And then we'll just lower the heels, tap them on the mat, rise up and lower. So building some ankle strength here, ankle stability, working through the calf muscles. Keep my kneecaps lifted. So I'm using BMO, this muscle here. I'm keeping my quads nice and contracted, rise up and lower. I'm not letting everything go floppy. Up and down. So we get the idea. It's nothing too outrageous, but let's pause at the top here. And then we're going to press our knees over our toes as we bend. So keeping the heels as high as we can. And then you're going to lower those heels down and straighten the legs. So we rise up, think length through the spine. Keep growing taller as we bend the knees, and even taller as you lower the heels. So we rise up, bend, down, then tall. So if you're not used to moving your feet like this, it can feel quite challenging. Push right over the top of those toes if you can. Lower the heels, then tall. Now we've got that. Let's go back the other way. So we bend. So we've only gone down as far as we can before we lift those heels. Then we peel the heels up. Then we stand tall, and then we lower down. I'm keeping my core nice and strong, like there's a corset going all the way around the middle. Stand tall and lower. Bend, lift, pull, and lower. Last one, lift, tall, and lower. Good. Grab whatever object you've got between those ankles and just place it between the knees now. Feet are parallel, so how far away your feet are from each other will depend on what you've got between your legs there. Okay, so we're going to reach forward, send the butt back, and squeeze on that ball, and then squeeze it even more as we stand tall. So we bend down, send the butt back, and squeeze as we stand tall. Reaching forward, give your glutes, your butt cheeks a really good squeeze as we stand up as well. Bend and up. Good. And up. So if I was to face side on, I'll just show you what my back is doing. So it should stay mostly the same. I'm not rounding the back, it's not contemporary dance. I'm reaching forward, supporting my spine with my abdominals, squeezing those butt cheeks as we stand. Down and up, down and up. Good. 2 more. And we'll hold this last one. So we're reaching the fingertips forward, but I'm keeping the collarbones open and my butt is going behind us. Let's see if we can rise up and lower. Good. Starting to feel that nice thigh burn. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. Try not to get lazy here. Don't let those shoulders end up around your ears. Hope you're feeling the quad burn. 4, 3, 2. Let's hold the next one. And 1. Little pulses. You're welcome. Pulsing, pulsing. 5, 4. Strong tummies. 3, 2, 1. Let's come all the way up. Woo! Get rid of that ball. We're going to come all the way down to the mat. So we're going to be seated in the middle of the mat. So here we are in the center of our mat. We're going to keep using this thing between the knees, taking the hands behind the legs. And, all right, so we're trying to sit up as tall as we can. If you feel a bit rounded in the spine, shuffle your feet a bit further away so that you can easily sit up tall. You're going to pull on the back of your legs a little bit. That's going to open up your chest and set your shoulder blades where they need to be. So strong tummy, like you're being poked in the belly button. We're going to round that lower back and then sit tall. Round and sit tall. I'm going to keep pulling on my legs and I'm going to add a little bit of a squeeze onto the ball slash cushion slash whatever you've got there. That's it tall. Remember, if you don't have anything there, just pop your legs together. And sitting tall. Round and sitting tall. What I'm avoiding doing is going back. So my shoulders are staying mostly on top of my sit bones. And it's just the flexion through the lumbar spine that I'm trying to achieve. And I'm pulling on my thighs. I'm going to give my arms a bit of a workout and helping building strength in the shoulders. Good. Let's hold this next one, squeezing on the ball. Let's release the hands, hold the squeeze on the ball, and watch that we're not compressing our shoulder blades. So we're going to roll back. Oh, yeah. And then we're going to roll forward. Keep squeezing on the ball. So my back is staying round, rolling back, squeeze the ball, and rolling up. Good. Rolling back. So starting to get some delicious warmth in our tummies. Keep squeezing whatever it is you've got there. Rolling back, rolling forward. Good. Remember, you are allowed to give yourself a little bit of a help with your arms, especially if you have a sore back. Or if you do have a sore lower back, it's better to keep the spine long and tilt back like that. But let's go to here and pause for a hot second. So this is a challenging place to hold, as I'm sure you will agree with me. Keep squeezing that ball. I'm going to take the arms up and reach them forward. So you can see what that does to our feet. It makes us want to lift the feet up off the mat as we take our arms behind us. It's changing our center of gravity. Squeeze the ball, right, and forward. Pull that tummy in, scoop the belly, that part below the belly button, that's what we want. Feel it pulling in nice and tight. And keep squeezing on the ball, don't forget. 3, 2, and 1. Let's roll up slow, and then we're just going to flop forward over our thighs and just have a second to recover here. Not too long, of course. So let's sit up nice and tall again. Squeeze that ball. We're going to roll down, and we're going to get to a point, probably the same point as before, and then we're going to pop a bit lower maybe, pop our elbows down on the ground. So I don't want you to then just sink there and be like, oh yeah, I'm just having a holiday lying here. So push the elbows into the mat, really pull that tummy strong, round the back as much as you can, because we're going to pull the legs in and float them into tabletop. So I'm being nice to you. I'm allowing you to put your elbows on the floor for now. Squeeze that ball. We're going to double toe on the inhale. Exhale, back up to center. Inhale, tap. Exhale, back to center. So I'm really trying to flatten out my abs here. I'm trying not to bulge my tummy up to the ceiling. Also trying not to let my shoulders creep up. And don't forget about those inner thighs. So squeezing the knees. Tap and lift. Tap and lift. 2 more. Tap, lift, tap. Woohoo! Lift. Here we go. Keep squeezing. I'm going to straighten out those legs and pull them in. So the lower you go to the floor, the harder it's going to be. So you can make that decision for yourself. You might want to take your legs further up to the roof, but that becomes hard on the old hamstrings. So choose your poison. Splitting the difference halfway. It's a good place to be. You can really feel those tummy muscles working. 2 and 1. All right, we've graduated. Now we're going to take the elbows off the ground, but let's just lower the legs and we're going to roll up and have a flop forward first. So last little bit of torture here before we head down to the mat. Okay, so let's sit up tall. We're going to take the hands behind the knees, which is going to help us a bit. Squeeze the ball a touch and start to roll back. And as you do, pulling the toes in and trying to find that balance point here. So we're holding onto our legs for the minute. It's not too bad, but it's going to get worse. So I've got a rounded spine. I'm not necessarily trying to sit up nice and tall. Let's see if we can release the hands. Whew. So remember to modify this, please put your feet back down on the mat and go back to that other exercise we did at the beginning. We take the arms up and forward. So trying to find that balance and forward. If your feet are on the ground, it's the same as before. Up and forward. Only 4 more and then we can get down to the mat. Squeeze the ball. 3, 2, and 1. Oh my God, pull those knees in. We're gonna roll down, slow, 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 slow. Pull the way to the mat. Give yourself a little bit of a cuddle here. Maybe rock side to side. And then we're gonna take the feet flat on the mat. Might scoot down a bit. So we still have the ball between the knees, but we're not necessarily squeezing the crap out of it. But our inner thighs are definitely engaged. So let's relax those shoulders down to the mat, hands by our side. Let's pelvic curl. So our hips, knees, and ankles all aligned, obviously. Press that lower back into the mat. We're going to peel the spine up, bone by bone. Pressing my feet down, squeezing the glutes, and then sink from the ribs here, 1 vertebra at a time, all the way down to the mat. Breath in and rolling that spine up. And then rolling back down. So as always, with pelvic curls, I know they're boring, but they're really good for your spine, not just your spine, for your glute strength, hamstring strength, your abdominals, your back extensors. We have the ball there, so all the cushions, so we're working our inner thighs. It's a really great exercise for lots of things. Rolling down. And rolling up. And rolling down. Almost halfway. Who'd have thought? Having so much fun. We've been only on the mat for about 5 minutes, so 7 minutes maybe. Rolling down, maybe a bit longer, and rolling up. Let's pause at the top. Let's float our arms up to the roof. We haven't got them on the floor for support, but if you need to, please take them down. Halfway down with the hips, all the way up. Squeeze the butt cheeks and squeeze the ball. Halfway down, release the glute squeeze and ball squeeze. All the way up, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze everything. Halfway down as we breathe in, exhale, all the way up. Halfway down, all the way up. I'm trying to keep my ribs closed here and not open them, flare them to the ceiling, because you can see what that does to my alignment. I'm trying to get the long line from the knees to the shoulders. Great. 3 more times, really work those butts. 3, 2, and 1. Good, hold the squeeze, hold it as hard as you can, and we're gonna roll down, nice and slow, 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 even slower. Squeeze, 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 and back to the mat. Just grab the ball, join the soles of your feet together, and just let the knees fall open. So we just release those hips there. Okay. A little bit more for our abs before we move on. I think we'll pop the ball between the ankles. Like so, we've got the legs into tabletop. Remember just to put your feet down at any time you need a break, driving your lower back into the floor, hands behind the head. Lifting up into a chest lift. We're gonna hold here, flattening out those abs. We're gonna double toe tap, and then release down to the mat. So we lift, tap, and down. Exhale, lift, inhale, tap, exhale, lift, inhale, down. So it's 1 breath, for each movement that we do. And I always say it doesn't actually matter if you breathe backwards to me, as long as your breathing is deliberate and you're sort of focused on it in a way. That's the main aim, and that you're not just holding your breath. Lift, tap, lift, and down. So to modify it, maybe you don't want to tap all the way down, especially if you have any back issues. Being really aware to drive that lower back down into the mat. If you're like me and you have a sway back as it is super hard to keep the lumbar spine on the mat. You just might not get there, but you're just going to keep trying as hard as you can. I know with my back, there's like a permanent thing. I just cannot get that part on the mat, but that's cool. Nobody's perfect. It's only Pilates. And last one, lift, tap, lift, and let's hold here just because of no other reason other than it's Monday and we may as well. Let's reach the hands towards the bottom of the mat, palms facing each other. And we're going to side tilt. So reaching towards the left-hand corner of the mat. Stay lifted as we come back through center. And now we reach the right fingers to the bottom right-hand corner of the mat. Back through center, stay lifted. Tilt, so not a twist, it's a side bend. So a twist would look like that. I'm actually trying to tilt. Good, so you should be feeling a burn. I am. If you have sore neck, worried about the neck, take the hands behind the head and make sure you're still tilting, not twisting. One more time each side, pulling that tummy down. And then we're going to release the head and chest, followed by the legs all the way down to the ground. So just grab that ball, all the cushions, shuffle your feet to the outside edge of your mat. And we'll just windscreen wiper those knees. Get the hips loose, the poor old lower back, a bit of a break. And let's get moving into some roll up. So a bit of an abdominal focus today, and we'll get into our glutes towards the end. I'm just going to shimmy over here a little bit so that I'm not hit the wall with my legs. We won't even bother about the balls or the cushion, just put it to the side. So I'm going to straighten out my legs like so. We're just going to let's do 3 normal roll-ups, and then we'll modify them with the leg, and then I'll modify them to feature leg circles too. So we'll go in stages. You can always drop back if you need to. Palms facing towards each other. Draw those ribs together, slight squeeze of the knees, dig the heels into the floor. Arms first, peeling the spine off. So nothing groundbreaking about this roll up. We're just going to come to this position and rolling back down. We've done it 1,000 times before. And focus on peeling one vertebra at a time around the back. So I'm reaching my fingers over my toes and I'm pulling my tummy behind me. So I'm not trying to lengthen over my legs just yet. I'm keeping the spine round. Lots to think about, just doing your best. Last one. So for anybody who's new to my classes, that is just a normal straight roll up, but we're going to make things a little bit more interesting now. So we'll take our arms out to the side to a T position. We'll start with our left leg into the air. So if your leg is only to there, it doesn't really matter as long as it's sticking up into the air. So we're going to start to roll up, and as we roll up, we're taking this leg down to the mat. We're going to reach forward just like we did before. Same leg, left leg. We're going to bring it back all the way to the roof and go again. So we'll just do this about 3 times as well. And I really don't care if you're pointing or flexing your feet. You can play around with that however you like. For some reason, I tend to flex when we go here and point once we're lifted, but it doesn't really matter. So this is the last one of these. And then we'll roll back down. Now we turn into our leg circles. So I'm going to tilt my left leg and my pelvis all the way over till my foot hits the floor on the right side. I'm going to swing it down. Stable pelvis now as I bring my leg back up. So let's go again. Over, twist the hips, find the floor, swoop the leg around and up. 3 times. And then we'll go back the other way. So we open the hip out, but keep the pelvis stable here. And then we tilt as we round, as we cross the body. 3 times, getting a nice back twist. Last one. I know everybody hates leg circles, so that's another thing that you can be thankful for today. That I made you do something that you probably don't like doing. So here we are in our roll up. Let's roll down. This time we're going to bring our right leg up. We're doing all of that on the right side. So leg goes down, reach over the toes, pull the tummy back. 3 times. Nice and smooth, but if you do need a bit of momentum, here's how you would cheat. You would throw that leg down in order to give you a little bit of help. You know, I'm all about just making it work the best way you can. So that was our third one. Let's go into our leg circles. So we twist, we find the floor, swing it around and up. Twist, find the floor, stable pelvis as we come back through center 3 times. And then let's reverse. So stable pelvis as we open it up, swoop it around. Good. And then we're going to join it all together, taking this right leg down. So have a bit of a wobble, a bit of a release, and then we're going to do it all. So roll ups into some leg circles. So we'll roll up, we'll roll down, circle one way, circle the other, roll up, swap legs. Don't worry if you forget the choreography, because that's what I'm here for. So let's take that left leg up and start to connect deeply through those abs. We nod chin to chest. We're going to roll up, round that back. Left leg, we're going to lift the left all the way down. Leg circle, crossing the body first. Just one in each direction. And then back the other way. And then rolling up. Right leg this time. Rolling down, we bring our right leg up, flex the foot, cross the body, swoop it around and up, all the way. Swoop it around and up. We'll do one more to each side. Left leg, cross it over, swoop it around, all the way. I think I'm creeping up the mat here a little bit. Reset in a minute. This is the last one. Right leg, flex the foot, cross it over and around. And then this is the last one. Let's finish in a seated position. So we roll up and let's just flop forward. So however you want to flop forward here, if your hands are only to there, then that's totally fine. Don't even worry about lengthening your spine. We're just flopping forward for a hot second here before we roll over onto our glutes. So let's grab your ball, cushion, whatever it is again. I'm going to come into a side lie position and the ball is going to be between the ankles. So like I have slipped up the mat here. Like so, knees and ankles are stacked. My hips are roughly 45-degree angle, same as my knee joints. Slide your hands underneath your ribs, give them a bit of a lift, and think about your hips being stacked vertically, one on top of the other. Relax your neck, and just be mindful of sinking those ribs down into the mat. We want to keep them lifted. This hand on your hip, so you can feel what's going on in your glute, and also to see if your pelvis is rolling around. Okay. So, strong core, squeeze the ball, open the knee, and lower down. Squeeze the ball, open the knee, and lower down. Keep squeezing as we open, and lower down. If you stick your thumb into your butt here, you'll feel that muscle doing the work. You can actually feel it moving. That is glute med, so that's the one we want to target. It's important to keep the pelvis still. So if you get to here and then you just roll back on your pelvis, you're not going to get the glute focus that we want. So this muscle does lots for us. Good for balance, anything that takes your leg out to the side. Different to the big muscle, glute max, that will do our lunges and your squats and that kind of thing. Anything you do with your hips open, a lot of glute med. Anything standing on one leg is great for balance. But it tends to burn really easily. It doesn't take long to get that nice, maybe not nice, it's not nice, is it? That desired burn. Keep squeezing the ball, lifting the ankles now so that they're higher than the hips. And we'll continue with that same exercise. If you don't have anything between your ankles, squeezing your heels together, and that means we're also getting that workout of the inner thighs. So I don't think we're going to get to a stretch at the end. So if you have time after class or later today, just do a glute stretch and also an inner thigh stretch. You want to stretch out your inner thighs, maybe sitting in a butterfly, something like that. Always good to stretch some if you've been working. Maybe we'll get to it at the end, I'm not sure. Whew. All right, so we're going to keep the top leg lifted, ditch the ball cushion, straighten out your top leg now and just recheck that you've lifted those ribs there. And we're just going to do some small circles. So just a last little bit of torture for your butt before we switch sides. And then we'll go back the other way. So just small circles compared to the hip circles we just did. These want to be nice and small, different muscle focus. Okay, so my butt's burning. Let's lower the leg, give your butt a bit of a rub, and then we'll do the other side. So spinning around, placing the ball between the ankles, getting set up in the same way as before, lifting the ribs, stacking the hips one on top of the other, shoulders down, squeeze the ball as we open. Lift and lower. All I can feel is my tummy grumbling because I haven't had my lunch yet. So that's my reward after class. I'll shove some food into my face. It's going to be amazing. Lift and lower. Squeeze that ball as we lift. And well, I have had 2 coffees though, so I feel pretty buzzy. Lucky for you. Open and close. 4 more. Squeeze the ball. 3, 2, and 1. Good. Let's lift the ankles up. Keep going with our clams. You can stick your thumb into your butt cheek there if you want. Feel what's going on. I better get a move on. I'm not going to get to the end. Don't want to run out of time for our plank. Oh my gosh. What would life be without planks? 3, 2, and 1. Good. Let's stitch the ball, straighten out that top leg, and small circles. So we're trying not to lower the leg below hip height. Keep the neck relaxed. Just double check those ribs there. You've got a bit of support. Back the other way. And then last one, and lower down. Good, give your glute a bit of love. Let's turn over onto our tummies. We're going to take the hands one on top of the other like so. Pressing a pubic bone into the mat. So that's how we find neutral when we're lying prone. Pubic bone into the mat, tummy to spine. You can see how the arch in my spine just flattened out a bit there, my overarch. And we'll take the legs together. So legs and upper body all at the same time. Keep your hands attached to your forehead if your back is okay. And carefully lift and carefully lower. Breathing in as we lift, trying to keep the legs together and lower down. So your option is just to leave the hands on the ground as you lift, or the option is to leave the legs alone and lift like so. or you can take out the top half of the body and just do the bottom. So lots of options for you to vary this if you need to. You know, if your back is just feeling gross, leave the hands on the ground. Lovely. We'll do 3, 2, you know what, we probably do have time for a stretch, and 1. Good. But before we stretch, let's lift up into a plank and get that out of the way first. So elbows or wrists, your choice. Taking one toe towards the back of the mat. If you're up on your hands, all you'll have to do is literally lift the other one up off the mat. So I don't need to lift my butt up into the air. Just go straight up. Squeeze your butt cheeks. Push that floor away. Nice and strong in your planks. If you're down on your elbows, it's much the same technique. Push the elbows into the mat. Holding nice and strong. Nice and stable. I'm going to give you options. You can take them or leave them. Left knee to left wrist. And then return. Right knee to right wrist. And return. If you're on your elbows doing this, you'll have to lift your butt up a bit in order to bring the knee in. And then let's go left leg, left knee to right wrist. And so you'll have to twist the body a bit to get those obliques going. Woo. And let's just hold here. I'm just going to check the time. Good. Plenty of time for a quick stretch. 3, 2, and 1. Bring that left leg through, carefully lowering the back knee down to the mat, furrowing up the body, and then carefully folding forward. So I'm aware about knee joints in this stretch. If this is not a stretch that your body likes, the alternative to that stretch is to cross one leg over the other and stretch this way. So stretching your glutes. So choose the thing that works for your body. I absolutely adore this stretch. I think it's great for your just settling in to a stretch like so. You can kind of use gravity, but I'm aware that not everybody has great knees. So just be aware of your own restrictions. Don't be afraid to move around a bit in your stretches either, as long as you're not bouncing. Movement is good. All right, let's do the other side. So we'll go through our plank to change. Carefully squaring up the body and lowering down. Remember, if you're on your back, just cross the other leg over. Reach through that diamond part in between your legs and just pull your knee to your chest. And maybe you get your head resting on the mat. Maybe not. Maybe you're just happy supporting yourself like this. And you might be totally different side to side, as I am. This side is way tighter. Okay, we're just about at the end. All that hard work is done. We definitely don't have time for an inner thigh stretch, but if you were to do one, it would be something like that. But I'm not gonna take you through that. So let's come up to standing, and we're not going to use our hands on the floor. So however you want to do that, it's going to come all the way up. So let's find our standing neutral. Nice and relaxed in the upper body, obviously engaging our core, nice breath in, and start to roll down. So maybe you don't need to bend your knees as much this time, all the way to the floor. Really pull that tummy in to roll up. So we're supporting your lower back with your abdominals. Nothing happening in the upper body. Just let the arms hang. Bend the knees if you wish. Strong tummy to roll up. And this is your last one. Let those arms hang all the way to the ground. Breath in, and exhale brings you all the way up. So you can see now how different you feel beginning to end. Thank you so much for joining me today, and hopefully I'll see you all on the mat